Death's Door may very well be the surprise title of 2021. What's up, guys? Veteran Gamer here. And today I am reviewing Death's Door. This is a title that was made by two people, and for most players, this will probably fly under the radar. In part because it is only on Xbox and PC. The other part is there's not a lot of marketing behind it. Not a lot of people know about this game, and it's unfortunate. At first glance, the first thing that you'll notice when it comes to Death's Door is the way it plays. This is a game that is very reminiscent of the old school Nintendo Zelda games, where you have an open world and it's away you go. Yes, there is a narrative story. Yes, you have to progress through a certain way, but the game doesn't tell you how to do that, and you are left to figure that out on your own. When it comes to the game's overall presentation, everything about the game's presentation is very articulate, as if the developers were very methodical in every decision that they made, whether it's the textures, the color palette, the animation, the musical score. Everything blends and fits so well together, and it was very well thought out, which is kudos to the developers. As stated before, this game was made by two people. When you're not roaming the world and you're not killing baddies, you will spend your time in a place called the Hall of Doors. This is a place where is your main hub. You can interact with some NPCs here, as well as upgrade your character's stats and weapons and damage and so forth. A part of the Hall of Doors is a hub much like a Nexus is in Demon's Souls or the hubs of any of the Souls games, where you use it to traverse the world and go from different locations once you've unlocked the door for that location. When you're in the world and you're exploring, you have your melee combat. Melee combat in this game is very simple in terms of what's available to you. It's basically a light attack and a heavy attack, and that's basically it for melee combat. Yes, the enemies have attack patterns and you do have to read them, but there's no fanciness to your character's combos or what you can do with your melee attacks. You also have ranged attacks. These ranged attacks consume ammo, and in order to replenish the ammo, you need to hit your targets with melee damage. So essentially, as a player, as you play through the game, you are literally bouncing back and forth between melee and ranged. The whole purpose of this is to, keep your ammo stockpile so that you can use your melee damage, your range damage, but you need your range for certain enemies, as well as, if you want to deal damage at a distance while someone else is hunting you down. Even though the combat at its core surface of it is very, very simple, the boss battles are fantastic. The boss battles, they have their own stages, they have their own phases that you have to go through, and much like an older Zelda game, they don't have a health bar or anything of that. What they do is they will glow red the more damage they take. And as they get closer and closer to dying, you see more and more red damage. On top of this, everything about this game, as stated before, is very similar to an old school Zelda, which means that there are some little puzzles that need to be solved in order to progress through the game. Sometimes you may enter a room and you're fighting a baddie, you kill the baddie, and then the room opens for you to progress. Other times, it's you have to ignite flame pots in order to open the gate and progress forward. All of these are elements of the old school, NES Zelda games, if you ever played those, and it fits really well with the game world. Exploration in this game is very, very, very much encouraged. It can flesh out the story, as well as find you all the little secrets, as well as like increasing your health, increasing your ammo capacity, and it can just also flesh out the story. The only real con that I had when playing Death's Door, in my own opinion, is that the game could use a map. Not a map that tells you where to go, but a map that can tell you where you've been. This is something would be similar to that of like the old school Diablo games. Many other games have it where you have a map and it reveals where you've been. Because there are times in this game where you have no direction of any kind and you don't know where to go. And you may have quite possibly forgotten an area that you could have gotten to, but you couldn't there before because you just didn't have the necessary abilities to get there. And I'd spent however much time wandering around trying to figure out where was I supposed to go next. If I had a map saying, hey, you haven't been to this area yet, you got to a part of it, but you haven't revealed it yet, okay, at least it will allow me to go investigate that area that I'm missing. It is a little quirk, but nothing too concerning. The average length for the game is about 10 to 12 hours, and quite frankly, in Canadian currency, this was a $23 game. And 10 to 12 hours, it was a fantastic ride. For $23, you're going to be hard-pressed to find something that can give you this kind of value, and it's definitely worth another playthrough. There's other secrets that can be discovered, but only after you finish the game the first time. Overall, Death's Door is a very, very, very surprising title of 2012. I didn't think I was going to like this game as much as I did. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it is. It's just unfortunate that it's not on every platform. I think this is a game that would have benefited more had it been on Game Pass. But for those who haven't tried it, I highly recommend this title. I think this is a title that everyone should take a look at and not deny themselves of an old school classic Nintendo game style with a fresh take and a fresh story. And it's always good to support the little guy. Personally, I love my time with Death's Door, and I'm giving Death's Door a 9.5 out of 10. This is Veteran Gamer, and I hope to see you guys next time.